What if the teen idol you once admired was hiding the most important truth of their life behind every smile, concert, and magazine cover? For decades, Hollywood and the music industry rewarded carefully crafted images while discouraging authenticity. Today, you'll discover the remarkable journeys of beloved stars who eventually chose honesty over fear, forever changing their lives and inspiring millions. Some stories may surprise you, while others will completely reshape how you remember these unforgettable entertainment icons. Long before Colton Haynes became an outspoken advocate for authenticity, audiences recognized him as one of television's rising stars. His memorable performances in Teen Wolf and Arrow established him as a charismatic leading man with undeniable screen presence. Behind the cameras, however, Colton quietly struggled with overwhelming anxiety, loneliness, and the emotional burden of concealing an important part of his identity. Like many young actors, he feared honesty might cost him the career he had worked tirelessly to build. Then, everything changed. In 2016, Colton publicly came out as gay after years of speculation, describing the tremendous relief that followed his decision. He later spoke openly about his experiences with depression, addiction, and mental health, explaining how years of hiding his authentic self had affected every part of his life. Through his memoir, Miss Memory Lane, Colton offered readers an honest account of both personal hardship and emotional healing, inspiring others facing similar struggles. Today, Colton Haynes continues encouraging conversations about mental health, authenticity, and self-acceptance. His journey reminds us that real strength is not measured by appearing fearless on screen. It is found in confronting life's deepest challenges with honesty, resilience, and the courage to begin again despite overwhelming adversity. Long before Matt Bomer publicly acknowledged his family, he had already established himself as one of Hollywood's most admired leading men. His performances in White Collar, Magic Mike, and The Normal Heart showcased remarkable versatility, intelligence, and effortless charisma. Audiences admired his classic leading man appearance, while critics praised his ability to bring emotional depth to every role. Yet, despite growing fame, Matt remained intensely private about his personal life during the early years of his career. Then, everything changed. In 2012, while accepting the Steve Chase Humanitarian Award, Matt publicly thanked his husband, Simon Halls, and their children during his acceptance speech. The heartfelt moment quietly confirmed what he had never felt obligated to announce with dramatic headlines. Instead of harming his career, his honesty strengthened his connection with audiences and reinforced his reputation as both an accomplished actor and devoted family man. Matt has since continued supporting LGBTQ+ equality through advocacy and charitable work. Today, Matt Bomer demonstrates that true success is measured not only by awards or leading roles, but by living authentically while remaining compassionate, humble, and committed to the people who matter most. Long before Jonathan Knight publicly discussed his private life, he was one of the original teen idols who defined an entire generation. As a founding member of New Kids on the Block, Jonathan helped create one of the biggest pop sensations of the late 1980s and early 1990s. Songs like Step by Step and Hangin' Tough made the group an international phenomenon, while millions of devoted fans admired Jonathan's quiet charm and approachable personality. Behind the excitement, however, he struggled with intense anxiety and the pressure of constant public attention. Then, everything changed. For many years, Jonathan chose to keep his personal life private, believing that silence offered protection in an industry where image often outweighed authenticity. In 2011, after years of speculation, he publicly confirmed that he is gay, emphasizing that he had never intended to hide who he was, but simply valued his privacy. His honesty earned widespread respect, allowing fans to appreciate him not only as a performer, but also as someone living truthfully. Today, Jonathan continues touring with New Kids on the Block while embracing a quieter life outside entertainment. His story reminds us that courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is simply the decision to live honestly without allowing fear to define your future. Long before Lance Bass became an advocate for authenticity, he was one of the world's most recognizable pop stars. As a member of NSYNC, he helped define late 1990s pop music alongside Justin Timberlake, J.C. Chasez, Chris Kirkpatrick, and Joey Fatone. Their chart-topping hits, sold-out arenas, and devoted fans made the group a global phenomenon. To millions of teenagers, Lance represented the all-American heartthrob, smiling confidently through music videos, interviews, and world tours, while privately carrying a truth he felt unable to share. Then, everything changed. In 2006, Lance publicly came out as gay, explaining that he wanted to live honestly rather than continue hiding behind an image created by the music industry. His announcement was met with overwhelming support from fans and fellow entertainers, proving that authenticity could strengthen rather than weaken a public career. After leaving the spotlight of boy band fame, Lance expanded into television, radio, film production, and entrepreneurship, while becoming a visible supporter of LGBTQ+ equality and family rights. Today, Lance Bass remains more than a former pop idol. His journey reminds us that genuine confidence begins when fear no longer controls the story, allowing honesty to become the greatest performance of all. Long before Ricky Martin publicly embraced his truth, he had already become one of the biggest Latin music stars in history. From his early success with Menudo to global superstardom following Livin' La Vida Loca, Ricky captivated audiences with extraordinary energy, undeniable charisma, and unforgettable performances. During the height of his fame, millions admired him as an international heartthrob, while constant speculation surrounded his private life. For years, however, he chose silence, believing openness might threaten the career he had worked so hard to build. Then, everything changed. In 2010, Ricky shared a heartfelt message on his official website, publicly announcing that he is a fortunate gay man. The statement marked a turning point, freeing him from years of secrecy while inspiring countless fans around the world. Rather than slowing his success, authenticity strengthened his connection with audiences who admired both his honesty and courage. Ricky later became an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, children's welfare, and humanitarian causes across the globe. Today, Ricky Martin remains celebrated not only as an international music icon, but also as a powerful example that living truthfully is often the greatest achievement of all. Long before Rick Cosnett publicly shared his personal story, television audiences admired him as one of the dependable leading men of modern drama. His memorable performances as Detective Eddie Thawne in The Flash and Dr. Wes Maxfield in The Vampire Diaries showcased intelligence, quiet confidence, and emotional depth. On screen, Rick often portrayed characters who embodied traditional masculinity, making him a familiar face for millions of viewers who appreciated his calm presence and understated charisma. Then, everything changed. In 2020, Rick posted a heartfelt video on social media simply stating, "I'm gay." Without dramatic headlines or elaborate speeches, he chose honesty over secrecy, explaining that he wanted to live more authentically and free himself from unnecessary fear. Fans responded with overwhelming encouragement, celebrating not only his courage, but also the sincerity of his message. His openness reflected a broader cultural shift, where audiences increasingly valued authenticity over carefully managed public images. Today, Rick Cosnett continues building a successful acting career while using his platform to encourage greater understanding, mental well-being, and self-acceptance. His journey reminds us that true confidence is not created by playing heroic characters on screen. It begins the moment we find the courage to live honestly, without apology, and fully embrace who we truly are. Long before Neil Patrick Harris became one of television's most respected entertainers, audiences first embraced him as the brilliant teenage doctor in Doogie Howser, M.D. Years later, his unforgettable performance as Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother transformed him into one of comedy's most recognizable faces. His versatility extended beyond television, earning acclaim on Broadway, hosting major award shows, and demonstrating remarkable range as both an actor and entertainer. Few performers have successfully reinvented themselves as often as Neil. Then, everything changed. In 2006, Neil publicly announced that he is a very content gay man, choosing honesty at a time when many actors still worried that coming out could limit their careers. Instead, audiences embraced him even more warmly. His openness challenged outdated Hollywood assumptions, proving that talent, charisma, and authenticity mattered far more than stereotypes. Alongside his husband, David Burtka, Neil has shared glimpses of a joyful family life while continuing to champion equality and inclusion. Today, Neil Patrick Harris represents a new generation of Hollywood success, where honesty strengthens rather than weakens a career. His journey reminds us that genuine confidence comes from embracing who you truly are, both on screen and in everyday life. Long before George Michael became a symbol of authenticity, he was one of the biggest pop stars in the world. As one half of Wham!, he filled the 1980s with unforgettable hits like Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, charming audiences with effortless charisma and remarkable musical talent. His solo career elevated him even further. Albums such as Faith showcased his extraordinary voice and songwriting, earning Grammy Awards while establishing him as one of the defining artists of his generation. To millions of fans, George appeared to have everything: fame, success, and admiration beyond imagination. Then, everything changed. For many years, George kept his sexuality private while navigating relentless media attention and enormous pressure from the entertainment industry. In 1998, following a highly publicized incident, he chose to publicly come out as gay rather than continue living behind carefully constructed expectations. Instead of diminishing his career, his honesty inspired countless people facing similar struggles. Beyond music, George quietly donated millions to charities, supported HIV/AIDS organizations, and helped individuals in need without seeking recognition. Today, George Michael is remembered not only for timeless music, but also for extraordinary compassion, resilience, and the courage to embrace authenticity despite overwhelming public scrutiny. Behind every headline, every hit song, and every unforgettable performance was a person searching for the freedom to live honestly. Which journey surprised you the most, and whose story changed your perspective? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more inspiring Hollywood stories. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.